Morning, Dom.
Morning, Rick.
Morning, you lot. You're watching the Two Fuels. Dick. What are we driving today, Dom?
An M3.
Just an M3?
Well, it's actually, for being pedantic, it's a BMW M3.
Oh, BMW M3.
Yeah.
Audio Jungle. Bodies pushing. Non-slide, no. Non-slide, no. Bodies pushing. Audio Jungle. Non-slide, no. Non-slide, no. Bodies pushing. Non-slide, no. Audio Jungle. Non-slide, no. Bodies pushing. Non-slide, no. No. Audio Jungle. No. Bodies pushing. No. 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 Bodies pushing. No. Audio Jungle.
So today we're driving a BMW E92
I don't understand all that. Is it,
M3.
what's a 46?
half of 92.
Very good. Don't think so.
It is.
Sure.
Yeah. No, it's 96, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so let's go for a drive. Today's car has been loaned to us by Stuart
From the Unleaded Adventures.
on the Unleaded Adventure.
He's also a little bit of a camera whore as well.
He is a bit of a camera whore. We'll put him in the description below and we'll
Yeah.
tag him on the video. But yeah,
Correct.
he's kindly lent us his M3 today.
It's really quite nice. It's quite warm in here, to be fair.
It's quite warm in here, I was going to say.
Let's
Yeah,
turn
we'll
that
just turn that down a little bit. Yeah, so if you don't know what an E92 M3 looks like, or an M3 looks like, you're watching the wrong channel. You need to go and have a look at the cooking channel.
Correct.
E92 M3, full litre,
V8.
V8.
Naturally aspirated.
Yes. A dying breed.
Oh, well, let's face it, there's more and more disappearing. It's a bit like, they're a bit like an endangered species, aren't they?
V8s.
They're going to go extinct.
Well, they are really, yeah. So I guess, I do know for a fact that Stuart the owner decided to grab one while he could and have that V8 experience. So, V8 engine, horsepower, Dom?
Well, they reckon the 400 and something, 400 and a little bit, but everything that I've ever read, looked at, says that they're actually below 400. And I think it was a time when BMW were slightly over-egging their figures because they wanted to be over 400, whereas now they've gone the other way and they basically say, "Hiya, your M140's 150 brake," and actually it's probably about 350 brake.
Yeah.
So, but they're about 400, and to be fair, from what I've experienced, it definitely feels at that point.
So I'm sure Dom will support. I'm a bit of a BMW fanboy. So I'm not going to start off with how this car looks because I like BMWs. So I'll let Dom kick off with front end of this car. You described it as,
It's quite aggressive.
and you commented on how when you looked at the front of things, you liked to see a nice bulge.
Well, it's got a nice bulge in the bonnet, hasn't it? You know what I mean? It looks good.
Hello, sailor.
There we go.
There we go.
Take that one up.
Well, that's part of the aggressive look of this car. When it comes up behind you,
It does.
got that big bulge sat in the bonnet. It's got the two little snorty nostrils either side of it.
Is it a real bulge? Is it there for a reason?
It's a real bulge with real vents.
Okay, so no fake vents.
No fake, real vents there.
Real vents, right? Okay, that's good. Because that's another thing that's like does me head in, fake vents.
Well, so front end of it, I agree. It's an aggressive looking car. It's typically BMW, and it's before the Daniela Westbrook days, as we've already mentioned on this channel, where the BMW just lost the way. Let's not go there. It's just.
Oh, that's not. No,
It's just.
I don't know. Maybe when this came out, did people look at them and go, "That's not an E46. That's big and fat and ugly."
Well,
and then people have got used to it like they did with the.
Crazy. I'll agree, and I'm guilty myself, that BMW revised the cars, and when they first come out, everybody goes, "That's a bit weird looking. That I'm not really digging that." And then after 18 months, 2 years, we all kind of go, you look alright actually. And then you kind of get into your groove with it and done.
He's not going to stop.
He's just going to pull out.
He's not even
There you
looked.
go.
What a... Yeah, well done. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, he's been a bit aggressive as well.
Swear there.
He was being a bit of a
there we go.
swear. Anyway, there we go.
So,
Moving on.
So yeah, they kind of some designs improve. I'd still say that the 6 Series, the back end of a 6 Series, is still. You don't know what that one is or what it looks like or anything, do you?
Is that one of those X things?
No, 6 Series got a weird.
Oh,
look.
right, okay.
Anyway, let's move on to the side profile of this car.
Well, it's your atypical BMW. It looks good. I tell you what I do like. I like the flared arches on the front.
Yeah, I agree.
They
yeah.
look really, really, really good.
For anybody who's not from up north, Dom's not describing French flowers, a fleur. He's describing flared arches spelled with an A.
It's
So
flared.
we'll just.
You know.
Okay, but no, I'm with you. The flared arches are.
And I think it feeds nicely into the back end, and I think it's a good looking. You look at it from the side and go, that looks good.
And then we've already sort of said you come around the side and you get around the back end.
As exhaust pipes.
It's got some slash cut tips on there, quad pipes. So a fair bit of noise comes out the back end.
It's all right to be fair. It's pretty good. It does sound good. It's all right inside, but outside it definitely has that good, nice growl.
So outside, I think it's pretty understated despite the flared arches.
I'm not with you.
having that?
I'm not with you on that one because I think if you stuck a picture of this next to a picture
320D.
of a 320D,
Right, okay.
I think you'd go, oh yeah, that looks a little bit different to be fair. So I think they've definitely,
Right, okay.
I think they've worked on this properly. It's like different body panels. It's a bit like the old RS4s, where the RS4s look properly and they look good, whereas the new ones suddenly became very nondescript, a bit nondescript, a bit non-sort of plus, but I think
Wheels
there's
and
that.
tyres, Dom.
Well, wheels and tyres, they're staggered. I know that for a fact.
Staggered wheels, 19 inch.
19 inch all round, and I think they're 265 on the back and probably 245 on the front.
I think you're right there.
Right, okay.
Continentals on this. The owner's not the biggest fan of Continentals. We're not pushing owners' cars to their limits, so for what we've been doing today, there's been plenty of grip in it on this kind of fairly chilly day.
Pretty cool out there.
Mildly damp roads, not too bad.
7-8 degrees. It's not what you would class as full on.
But yeah, Continental tyres have been good. Wheels look good on it. I'm a CSL wheel man myself.
Is that what these are?
I'd put CSLs on it if
Are these CSL wheels?
I don't know, these are the standard M3 wheels on these.
All right, okay.
I'd put CSLs on it just because
It's a
I
CSL.
think they look great. No, I think they look great. They're great design, timeless design. So, but yeah, other than that, I think outside of this car looks mega. It's got a nice little vents in the side, in the front wings where the flured
Thank you.
where the fluid arches come out.
Yeah.
It's got the nice little wong coming.
Is that a trinket?
That's a trinket. Yeah, nice little trinkets they put in there. Refer to our Mini GP2 video for my use of the word trinkets.
Trinkets.
Possibly in the wrong context. But anyway.
Totally.
So yeah, outside of the car, cool looking car. I still think it's a pretty looking car. You know, I've had an E46 M3. Everyone goes on about them being the timeless, classic BMW shape.
Is that the one that you tried to drive off a cliff?
That's the one I very nearly took off a cliff in Italy whilst not being in the vehicle. If anybody wants to hear that story, direct messages. I'm sure Dom will be delighted to.
It was a truly marvellous day. After the event, obviously, when I realised that your car was not going down the cliff, but actually
saved by a rather large wooden post that took most of the front bumper out. But yeah.
Hey, well, listen, small mercies and all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Small mercies, because we were just going to leave you on the side of the mountain if we're being honest. But you know, you live and learn.
E46 is kind of. I have had 6 E46s.
6?
Yeah. I've had 6 E46s, so I might be slightly biased.
You are a full fanboy, aren't you?
I might be slightly biased on that shape, but I think this E92 shape is now becoming a classic shape. I'll tell you what, Dom. I'm just going to stick it in sport mode while we just come around this nice little bit here. And that's for fact because I'm enjoying this car. I'm not sure you're going to drive it just yet.
Oh, I'd like to have a go if I'm being honest.
I'd like
It's
to have a
quite nice. It harks back to the RS4 I had with a V8 in it. It's just quite I'd say it's just, it goes all right. It does go more than that, if I'm being honest.
Downshift there, isn't it?
It is a good downshift, isn't it?
So that, I guess, brings us on to a bit of comfort factor in this car.
Well,
And we've
we're
driven
on it.
quite a few hot hatches lately. The GP2 was probably the best handling,
It was more refined.
but this is like another level up.
It's a definite up step as regards of how it feels, even though it's running on sort of lowered e-back springs. It's definitely still retained that quite pleasant
I agree.
comfort sort of thing that you do tend to associate, I think, with BMW a little bit. That they've always had quite a nice, they're quite refined.
It's a good quality ride in here, definitely. And that brings us, I guess, interior cabin wise. Again, it's a nice place to be. It's standard BMWs, what everybody will say. BMW, they never move.
They are a
interiors
little
on.
bit. They are a little bit. I mean, you might as well be in the same car as your 140, and probably was this the same as your E46s?
No, this is a step up. So they step them up every time, but it's a fairly standard kind of layout that they have in here.
Has it got iDrive, iDistract, iDie?
It's got one of the early versions of that, I think, which probably was where the iDrive,
Distract, iDie.
Came from. So it's quite it's an old system, but it still works just fine. But again, I don't think, we've mentioned before, I don't think you're going to buy a car like this for its infotainment system, are you?
Oh, but it's nice. It's got a nice
It's
nav.
touchscreen as well. Damn it, didn't fall for that one. But it's a quality ride in it. The seats are like super comfy. They're well cushioned, well supported. Side bolsters are like really good.
It's a good space. It's not massive. It's not little. It's not massive. Rear seats look pretty good, if I'm being honest. You could get in them.
Do you want to go back there?
Yeah, I'll go back there afterwards, no problem. You know what I mean? I'm not doing
car park for that?
not
Both getting there, yeah?
not doing it
No?
now, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Well, we're sort of driving along at, a steady sort of 40. But it's a nice place to live, and it's been nicely finished, and everything is, all the touchy points are good.
Touchy point, steering wheel.
There's a few buttons on it,
There's a few buttons on it.
but there's not too many. This was before it got to let's go button mad.
Yeah, I agree. This is where I'm kind of going. So you've got a bit of radio, a bit of volume, a bit of telephone, and a bit of cruise control. You don't need much else. The famous M button.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the M button sort of tightens everything up. Wax on gear changes.
Tightens everything up.
Tightens everything up, including your mouth if you don't. So the M button tightens things up, makes everything a bit more aggressive. Downshifts are a bit more aggressive. You've got all the gearbox twiddling, blah 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 blah. If you really want to find out about that, there will be 1,000,001 videos
Absolutely.
on YouTube going.
Yeah. But it does work, and it does change everything.
So what else we've got in here, Dom?
What?
Real carbon fibre
We like real. Real carbon's nice to be fair. It's finished off well. Is this factory?
This is factory real carbon. We haven't also mentioned got carbon roof as well.
Yeah, well, they've started doing that on. This is the first one they did it on?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems to be a common thing now with BMW, which is a good use of carbon, because technically it's making it low centre of gravity less, brings the weight down a little bit. But then again, when I'm sat in it, the weight tends to be a little bit lower anyway.
Well, I'm a little underwhelmed by your reaction actually after all the having to go at cars that've got fake carbon. We're getting one that's got
Real
carbon all over the interior, on the roof, and it's like, yeah, well, BMW started doing this, and yeah, it's not a GT3, is it? So yeah, not bothered.
there's not really a lot of carbon on the GT3 if we're going down
I'll tell
that
you what,
route.
Stuart, I'm really sorry about his reaction to your carbon, so we'll apologise for that. Dom says he's going to buy some carbon for Christmas.
Some
I don't know what
fake
he's gonna do.
carbon.
But no, there's a nice sea of carbon in
Right.
it.
I won't drink, so just like
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Tell me you never do that to Tracy or your mates. Tell me you never do it.
Dick.
So, obviously no gloss black in here, but there is carbon everywhere, so you are going to get your fingerprints on it. But
No, it doesn't show up like gloss black though, does it?
I agree.
It doesn't show up like gloss
And then
black.
buttons, we're at that BMW era where there's enough buttons that just do everything, and outside of that, we've not put unnecessary buttons in.
I think the buttons are right. I think there's not millions of them. They all have a job to do. They all seem to work. You can actually turn the music down and turn it off with the button.
Always a plus.
Always a plus. And it seems to be, it seems to work.
And this is also in an age where on the power button, they don't put the little power logo on it just to annoy people that like spins. Some cars it spins round with it, yeah. Some cars it stays vertical. Is that just me, OCD?
I think that's just you, if I'm being
Just
honest.
me and the OCD.
That's a little bit weird. That it doesn't really. Are you when you turn the volume up a 1-2 man? You got it on number 2 or even numbers or odd
Well,
numbers.
that's another one about this car. If you look at the temperature gauge, it's half-degree increments.
What's wrong with that?
Do you need a half-degree?
Well,
Have you noticed the half-degree then? Do you notice that?
yeah. 20.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what half
What's
a
this-
degree
what's
is.
this now then? I'll just cover it up.
It's like 21.
Right, yeah. It's 19. Anyway, half-degree increments. I don't know. Do we need it? I don't know. Do we need it? Anyway, do you want to drive, Dom?
I would like to have a go, yeah,
It's about time you got in it.
because it's quite nice and it's got a little bit of go juice and
Definitely got some go juice.
definitely. Can I have a go?
Can you have a go?
Yeah, I'd like to have a
If you
go.
go and put some fuel in it, because it's not cheap to run this, you can have a go, Dom. How's that?
Yeah. They're not cheap to run, are they? But a big V8 tends to not really.
Big V8. We're
What?
down to a 19.7
Oh,
at the moment
okay.
on today's journey. Not really be giving it too much beans, have we?
Not really giving any beans, if I'm being honest. It's been quite a pleasant sort of peaceful drive in the country.
So
But
19.7, yeah. So it's not really the cheapest car to run.
I think you're into single figures.
But
If you're
it's not a silly price to buy these cars anymore these days. So it's kind of offsetting.
15, 16, 17k.
Yeah, 15, 16 grand's going to get you a good one. So offsetting a fuel bill at whatever's not really a big deal, I don't think.
They've seemed to have plateaued on the depreciation and seem to be sat around that figure. And value-wise for what you're getting, I think it's a nice place to live. It's a nice place to drive. Would you daily it?
You could daily it. I mean, it's practical enough to do that. I mean, this one's done 70,000 miles. When you look at the interior, it's held up pretty well. There's a couple of little bits of wear and tear, but outside of that, it's just like a pretty sparkling interior you could deal with.
Yeah.
Right, Dom. Let's grab a coffee quickly while we're here.
Yeah.
And
Go for a drive.
you can jump in the driver's seat and see what you make of the E92 M3.
Experience.
Experience.
No, remember we've
Yeah,
done
you
this
just have
before.
to, I know, but I don't want to switch the car off.
Well-
Why can't you put it in park while it's just...
I don't know. You need to speak to the engineers.
So like
of
while
BMW.
you're sat here and you want your engine just to have a little bit of a run
Well,
when
I
you
think
finish
start it up now, see if it
and
stays in.
you want to leave it.
Start it up
and
now.
you want to... No, that's just defeating... Careful of the... What's it attacking you?
This is more important.
What is?
See, it stays in park.
Yeah, but so when you pull up and you want to just leave your engine have a bit of a run down while you've had a good blast, what you're telling me is you're going to pull up and then switch it off just so it'll go in park and then switch it back on again so you can then just leave it running.
Snaps left brake. You don't have to run it down like you do with a turbo car.
So you just want to pull up and go, I'm done, get out.
Well, no,
Miami
but-
Vice style like this. Right, Dom's driving. He's immediately gone into M mode. Didn't hang about, didn't about with anything there. He went, right, let's just get on it, yeah?
It's quite nice, isn't it, to be fair?
So, how's your driving position, Dom?
Driving position is good. I would possibly say it's a little bit high if I was being properly pedantic, but not too bad.
I don't think you're being pedantic. I do think this car sits a bit, your seat a bit too high.
Not as high as the GTR though.
But on the
'cause
flip side, you got a bit of good visibility out there, I guess, so
Yeah.
take your potato. Yeah?
Yeah,
Steering wheel girth.
Steering wheel's good. You can feel how they're starting to grow. I'm talking about the steering wheel now.
What's starting to grow?
The steering wheel.
You're starting to grow as you're gripping the steering wheel. No?
The steering wheel's starting to grow. They start to get a little bit fatter, aren't they? You know.
What about the paddle stop?
The paddles are quite nice.
Nice paddles on this.
Well,
yeah.
the paddles are the aluminium.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're aluminium anyway. They look aluminium. They feel aluminium. They've got a nice click when you change gear.
If they look aluminium, then they feel aluminium.
They are aluminium.
They are aluminium.
Yeah,
Aluminium.
Aluminum.
And do we have to translate that for the American audience?
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
Unlike the Audis, which are plastic.
Yeah. But do you think this is going back to when BMW actually made quality products, like you could probably say about Mercedes and most manufacturers, as they've gone a bit more?
I don't know. I think BMW still make a quality product now. I don't think there's anything, you know, I think they've always been.
Don't put metal paddles on their cars now, though.
Don't they?
No.
Are they plastic?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's a bit shit, that. We have shift lights, I've noticed.
Shift lights? I've not noticed the shift lights, actually.
Have you not noticed the shift lights? You're obviously not.
I've not been driving it so far. You've been pooling.
I'm assuming the shift lights anyway. They go orange.
They're the indicators, mate. You did have a look then, didn't you?
Hasn't got
indicators.
Hasn't got indicators of BMW.
Give you that one. So steering accuracy, Don.
Steering accuracy is good. I'm assuming we're still on a hydraulic rack. We've not gone to electric like the newer ones have,
so, yeah,
so it has a nice bit of feel to it. It's not as pointy as the GP2, but I don't expect it to be.
It's slightly bigger, quite a bit bigger.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Slightly heavier, quite a lot heavier.
A little bit more weight in the in the old girl, but it's as you start to drive it more, you start to get a little bit more confidence in it, and you know, turning's good. Feels quite nice going around corners. Yeah, it's generally, I can see why people buy them and just basically strip them and turn them into track weapons, because it is like almost the vehicle of choice for,
yes.
You know, look at Team Schwimmer and people like that at the Nürburgring, they literally do turn these into proper monsters, and I can sort of see why, really. They tick definitely plenty of boxes already as they are. Start pulling a bit of weight out of them and you're into something.
Off you go then. Sorry, Dom. I'll make it out. Put some weight out of it. Sorry. Yeah, we've hit a nice little bit of road now that we come and drive on. It's a national speed limit down here. We are currently doing.
I don't know, because there's nothing on the dash to tell me, and because I've got that.
It's got an old school it's got an old school needle to tell you what speed you're going at.
Well, you must be like that.
Not working.
Pardon?
Hey.
What?
So then, Dom.
Off we go.
Does it go around corners?
Well, we'll see in a minute.
See in a minute.
Yeah.
I hope it does.
Me too. Or else this could be on the register of isitinaDitch.com.
Could this be our most popular video ever? No. It does go around corners. It's a lovely car. This I've driven earlier.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's actually quite nice, this.
Downshift, yeah?
Yeah, it is a good downshift. See, look, shift lights.
Oh.
Told you.
I think we've answered the question of, is it fast?
It's definitely quick.
It's bloody fast, isn't it?
Seriously quick. Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's bloody fast.
It gets up to 60 mile an hour really quickly.
It does, actually, I agree. The owners come from an M140i, which I had myself, and we have had a bit of a chat about the power delivery in this. It's a more linear power delivery because it is naturally aspirated. So you have to use the gears a bit more, like you get in the modern day 3-litre 6 cylinders and they just pull it. Anything really because of the turbo, whereas this is, you've got to work it a bit more, but you're in the right gear, you're in the right revs.
It's quite exciting, if I'm being honest. It's quite, I can see why you start using lots of fuel, because it becomes quite a, you know, let's keep it up there, let's keep it revving. It's, it's good.
So yeah, this is definitely a fun car.
This is quite good, this.
I agree, isn't it?
Stuart's right, you do have to like wring its neck a little bit to make it. Is that that bump?
Don't know.
I believe I can fly.
Dom's singing again. If you want to hear more of Dom singing, can we just ask you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for alerts on our next videos. We've got a couple of more cars lined up. We've got a Civic Type R, and we've got a Abarth 500 Celebrity Edition lined up before the Christmas period. So then, Dom, our usual, does it look good? It looks good.
It looks better. It looks aggressive, and aggressive is better than good.
Aggressive is good. Aggressive is better than good. I like
Yeah.
that. Does it go well?
Yeah, it goes really
Goes
well.
like stink, doesn't it,
Yeah,
really?
it does. It goes like a stabbed rat.
Goes like a stinky stab rat. It makes a lot of noise. And it is great fun to drive, yeah?
Yeah, and I'd say it's pretty good value.
So, I think the answer is I don't want.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, I'm a BMW fanboy, so of course I don't want.
Pull on.
You're not a BMW fanboy, but would you own one?
Yeah, I would actually. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I definitely own an E92 M3.
Me too.
Done. Thank you for watching the Two Fuels. Thank you for watching our E92 M3 video. Hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next time for more four-wheel fun.